I meet him when I'm 25 years old at a hotel bar in Miami on a Thursday night. And I have no idea that he's going to ruin my life in a way that I'll never be able to escape. I'm at the Fontainebleau Hotel Bar because my friend Melissa insisted. She said I'd been alone too long since Derek left. She said I needed to get out. She said Miami's nightlife was the cure for heartbreak. So here I am, wearing a borrowed dress that fits just tight enough to make me feel like someone other than myself, drinking a Cosmopolitan that costs $17. The bar is beautiful in that sterile Miami way, marble and glass. Lighting that makes everyone look like they're in a magazine. There's soft music playing. There's the sound of ice in expensive drinks. There's the particular energy of beautiful people who have money and know it. I'm sitting at the bar alone. Melissa disappeared 20 minutes ago to talk to someone she met. I'm wondering how long I have to stay before I can go home and watch Netflix without feeling like a failure. That's when I notice him. He's in his mid-40s, maybe older. He has dark hair just beginning to gray at the temples. He's wearing a suit that costs more than my monthly rent, charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. His shoes are Italian leather. His watch is gold and catches the light like it's announcing itself. He moves through the bar like he owns it. But what I notice most is his presence. It's the kind of presence that makes other people adjust their positions. When he enters a space, the space changes. He orders a drink from the bartender. Something brown, something expensive. The bartender nods knowingly before pouring. Like this is a regular order. Like this man comes here often and knows what he wants. He drinks slowly, like he's savoring it, like he has nowhere to be. And then he turns and looks directly at me. You look like someone who's waiting for someone who's not going to show up, he says. His voice is smooth. Underneath, the English is Spanish, just barely there. He sounds confident in a way that comes from being right about people. I'm not waiting for anyone, I say. It's a lie. You're sitting alone at a bar on a Thursday night, he says, moving closer. Not threatening, just closer. You're wearing a borrowed dress. I can tell by the way it doesn't quite fit your natural posture. Your friend left you here, and you're drinking something pink and expensive while looking at it like it tastes like regret. I don't know whether to be insulted or impressed. Are you always this observant? I ask. Occupational hazard, he says. I deal with people. I have to understand them. What do you do? I ask. Import and export, he says. It's vague in a way that means something else. My name is Adrian Morales. Isabel Chen, I tell him. He repeats my name like he's tasting it. Isabel, that's beautiful. I knew an Isabel once in Barcelona. She was a dancer. She had that same quality you have, like you're not quite here, because part of you is somewhere else. Where would I be? I ask. Somewhere better, he says. Somewhere where your ex-boyfriend regrets letting you go. Somewhere where you're wearing a dress that's yours, not borrowed. Somewhere where you're happy. It's the kind of thing that should sound like a line, rehearsed, but the way he says it, the way he looks at me while saying it, makes it feel true. Like he actually sees me. Like he's understanding something about me that I haven't even understood about myself yet. Can I buy you another drink? He asks. I haven't finished this one, I say. Then let me buy you a drink after this one, he says. Or dinner. Or both. Let me buy you an evening where someone actually pays attention to you instead of leaving you alone at a bar. I should say no. I know this. I know that men this beautiful, this polished, don't approach women like me unless they want something. I know the right answer is to smile politely cosmopolitan. But I don't say no. Okay, I say. Dinner. I should say no. I should go back to Melissa and tell her I'm tired. I should go home and accept that my life is exactly what it is, small and lonely and safe. But something in the way he's looking at me makes me believe that I matter. Makes me believe that I'm special. Makes me believe that someone like him, someone beautiful and wealthy and powerful, sees something in me worth stopping for. I don't think about his wedding ring. Or rather, I do think about it, but I talk myself past it. He said he's leaving. He said his marriage is over emotionally. He said I'm the only thing that makes him happy. These are the facts I choose to believe. I choose to believe because the alternative, that I'm about to make a terrible mistake with a man who's lying to me, is too terrifying to contemplate. I am 25 years old. I have spent the last year alone. I have spent the last year wondering if anyone will ever want me again. And now someone has noticed me. Someone powerful. Someone certain. Someone who looks at me like I'm not a failure. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to ignore the red flags. I'm going to believe his promises. I'm going to be stupid. We don't go to dinner that night. Instead, we go to his hotel room. It's on the 42nd floor. The view of Miami spreads out below us like a promise. The bedroom is the size of my apartment. There's a marble bathroom with a shower I could fit 5 people in. There's a closet with men's clothes hanging inside, expensive, clearly lived in. This is my suite when I'm in Miami, he tells me. I maintain it year-round. We order room service, foie gras, filet mignon, champagne that he says is exceptional. He tells me about Barcelona and Paris and London. He tells me about growing up in Cartagena. He tells me about his business in a way that suggests it's complicated and lucrative, and something I shouldn't ask too many questions about. And then he tells me about his marriage. My wife and I, he says carefully, we're not really together anymore. Legally, yes, but emotionally, that ended years ago. I should ask why he stays. I should ask if he's actually going to leave her. I should ask 100 questions that would protect me from what's coming. Instead, I ask, how long have you been married? 23 years, he says. Since I was very young and very stupid. I thought I loved her. I thought if I gave her everything, it would be enough. But love doesn't work like that. Love is about being understood, being seen. He reaches across the table and takes my hand. His hand is warm, strong, certain. I feel seen with you, Isabel, he says. I feel like you understand me in a way that my wife never has. It's been 3 hours. I don't know him. But when he says I understand him, I believe him. Because somehow I do, or I think I do, or I want to, which is essentially the same thing. You're married, I say, because I should acknowledge it. I'm leaving, he says immediately. I'll give it a few months to figure out how to do it properly. I don't want to hurt her unnecessarily. But I'm leaving. And when I do, I want to leave with you. He leans across and kisses me. It's not urgent or desperate. It's confident. Like this is already decided. I tell myself, this is different from other affairs. I tell myself that he really is leaving. I tell myself that I'm not like those women who wait for married men. I'm the exception. He actually means it with me. The truth is that I need to believe he means it. I need to believe that the universe has finally given me something good. I need to believe that I'm not making a colossal mistake. When he says he'll give it a few months, I accept this. A few months seems reasonable. A few months is a time frame. A few months has an ending. I don't ask myself why someone who's desperate to leave his wife would need months. I don't ask myself if he's stalling. I don't ask myself if he's going to say the same thing to me in 6 months. I just believe. Later, lying in his bed looking out at the Miami lights, he tells me that I'm different from other women. He tells me that he's never felt this way before. He tells me that his wife doesn't understand his world, but I do. I believe every word, because I need to. Because the alternative is too humiliating to contemplate, that I'm just one of many women he's told these things to, that I'm not special, that I'm already trapped in a pattern that will destroy me. I'm not ready to see that yet. For 2 years, I organize my entire life around Adrian's schedule. Tuesday nights are sacred. That's when he tells his wife he's working late. That's when he comes to the apartment he rents for me, a beautiful 2-bedroom in Brickell that costs $5,000 a month. He tells me I can't furnish it because the emptiness makes it feel temporary. We're not settling, he says. This is just temporary until he leaves her. Friday afternoons are when he can take longer. Sometimes he comes for 3 hours, sometimes 5. He buys me clothes. Expensive clothes from designers I don't recognize. He buys me jewelry. He buys me a car. He tells me these are investments in our future. When he finally leaves his wife, I'll need to look the part. I believe him. I organize my entire existence around his visits. When he texts and says he can't come, which happens more and more, I feel it like a physical loss. My friend Melissa confronts me one day at lunch. You're wasting your life waiting for a married man, she says. I've checked my phone 6 times in 20 minutes. Adrian texted that he might be able to stop by after work. He's leaving her, I say. When? Melissa asks. What's the timeline? Soon. He's waiting for the right moment. When is that? She's not being cruel. She's being logical. Charlotte, you're 26 years old. You're spending your Friday nights in an apartment waiting for a man who goes home to his wife. You don't understand, I say. You don't understand what we have. I understand that you're losing yourself, Melissa says. I understand that you've cut off everyone who cares about you. I understand that you've organized your entire life around someone who's lying to you. He's not lying, I say. But I'm less certain now. Has he left his wife? Melissa asks. I don't answer. Call me when he does, Melissa says. She leaves money on the table for her half. Until then, I don't think we should see each other. I can't watch this anymore. You don't understand, I say. You don't understand what we have. I understand that you're losing yourself, Melissa says. I understand that you've cut off everyone who cares about you. I understand that you've organized your entire life around someone who's lying to you. He's not lying, I say. But I'm less certain now. Has he left his wife? Melissa asks. I don't answer. Call me when he does, Melissa says. She leaves money on the table for her half. Until then, I don't think we should see each other. I can't watch this anymore. She leaves. I sit there with my phone in my hand, waiting for Adrian to text back. After she leaves, I sit alone with my doubt. I tell myself that Melissa doesn't understand what Adrian and I have. She doesn't understand that he's different with me. She doesn't understand that some relationships are worth waiting for. But in the silence, another voice whispers, what if she's right? I push that voice away. I push it down. Because accepting that Melissa is right means accepting that I've wasted 2 years. It means accepting that I've isolated myself from everyone who loves me. It means accepting that Adrian has been lying to me. It's easier to believe Adrian. It's easier to tell myself that Melissa is jealous, that she doesn't understand, that she's never experienced real love. I choose the easier path. I text Adrian, "My friend Melissa thinks you're lying to me." He texts back, "She's jealous. She doesn't have what we have." And with those words, he seals it. He's given me permission to cut her out completely. He's given me permission to stop listening to anyone but him. I never see Melissa again. I find out I'm pregnant on a Tuesday night in November. I've been nauseous for 2 weeks. I thought it was stress, the anxiety of waiting. But that evening, sitting in the apartment Adrian pays for, I realize it's something else. I drive to a CVS on Brickell Avenue at 9 p.m. I buy a pregnancy test. My hands are shaking when I take it in the bathroom of Adrian's apartment. 2 pink lines appear. I'm pregnant. My first feeling is terror. My second feeling is joy. My third feeling is certainty. This changes everything. Adrian has been saying he'll leave his wife for 2 years. A baby will force him to actually do it. I don't think about his hesitation over those 2 years. I don't think about his excuses. I don't think about the fact that he's had no problem leaving me waiting for 2 years. I just think, this is it. This is the moment everything changes. This baby is not a mistake. This baby is a sign. This baby is proof that Adrian loves me, because he's been reckless with me in a way he wouldn't be with someone he didn't love. While I wait for him to respond, I imagine our future. I imagine the apartment he's going to buy for us. I imagine the life we're going to build. I imagine him holding our baby, looking at me with the kind of love that makes everything make sense. I don't imagine him telling me he never promised me anything. I don't imagine him disappearing. I don't imagine the betrayal that's coming. I'm too busy believing in the fairy tale to see the nightmare. I call him. It goes to voicemail. I try again. Voicemail, I text. "I need to see you tonight. It's important." 20 minutes later, he calls back. "What's wrong?" he asks. His voice is concerned, urgent in a way he usually isn't. "I need to see you," I say. "Right now." "I can't tonight," he says. "My wife is expecting me home for dinner." "Adrian," I say, "please, it's important." There's a pause. "I'll be there in 40 minutes, he says. He hangs up. He arrives 47 minutes later with flowers. Expensive flowers from a place that arranges them specially. He kisses me. He holds me. And then I show him the test. His entire face changes. He picks me up and spins me around. He holds me close. He kisses the top of my head. "We're having a baby," he says, like he can't believe it, like it's the best news he's ever heard. "I know," I say. "This is amazing," he says. "This is incredible. This is everything." That night, he takes me to the most expensive restaurant in Miami. It's a place where you need a reservation months in advance. But he has a reservation, or he knows someone, or he's the kind of man that restaurants make space for. He orders wine. Expensive wine. He orders food that's beautiful and delicate and tastes like celebration. And then, at the bar, he announces it to strangers. "My girlfriend is pregnant," he says, like he's proud, like I'm not someone's dirty secret, like this is something to celebrate publicly. That night, in his hotel room, he tells me, "I'm going to marry you. I'm going to leave her. This baby is the push I needed. I'm done living a lie. I want this so badly that I don't ask when. I don't ask how. I just hold him and let myself believe that finally, after 2 years of waiting, my life is about to begin. Give me a few weeks to figure out how to do it properly," he says. "I don't want to hurt her unnecessarily. Okay, I say. A few weeks turns into the rest of my pregnancy. I'm showing now. The baby is real in a way it wasn't before. Adrian comes to an ultrasound appointment. He cries when he sees the baby on the screen. That's our son, he says. He says it like a fact, like he's certain. On the drive home, he tells me that he's thinking about leaving his wife soon. After the baby is born, he says, it's better that way. Less disruption. I accept this because accepting seems safer than questioning. 6 months. Adrian is still married. I've asked him about leaving 100 times, but gently. I ask about timing. I ask about his son from his marriage. I ask about the business. I ask about everything except the real question. Are you ever actually going to leave? He buys baby furniture. He sets up a nursery in the apartment. He sits in a rocking chair and imagines holding our son. He touches my belly and tells the baby about his dreams for him. I am so happy, so hopeful, so naive. 8 months, I'm exhausted. My feet are swollen. I can barely walk. Adrian comes by less frequently now. He says it's work. He says it's business. He says it's the demands on his time. But there's something different in his voice. Something distant. Something like he's already moved on. He still says he loves me. He still says he's leaving. But the words feel like habit now. I go into labor on a Tuesday afternoon in August. It's intense immediately. The pain is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's like my body is trying to split itself open. I call Adrian. He says he'll be at the hospital in 20 minutes. He arrives 2 hours later. My labor lasts 18 hours. The nurses keep telling me I'm doing great, but I don't feel great. I feel like I'm dying. Adrian is there for part of it. Then he leaves to take a call. Then he comes back. Then he's not there for the final hours because he says he can't stand seeing me in pain. I give birth to a beautiful baby boy at 4:47 a.m. on Wednesday morning. They place him on my chest. He's covered in blood and vernix and the evidence of birth. He's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I cry so hard I can barely see him. I'm 25 years old, and I don't yet understand how much I'm about to age, how much I'm about to lose. Adrian arrives after I've been cleaned up. He's holding flowers. He's crying. He looks at Lucas like he's looking at something holy. He's perfect, Adrian says. He's absolutely perfect. He holds Lucas like he's the most precious thing he's ever held. He cries. He tells me that he loves me. He tells me that he's the happiest man alive. I'm going to be such a good father, he says. I'm going to give him everything. The best schools, the best life. And you're going to be his mother, and I'm going to be his father, and we're going to be a family. In that moment, with his tears on his face and his son in his arms, I believe it completely. I believe in our future. I believe in his promises. I believe that everything is about to change, and it's all going to be the beautiful life we've been waiting for. I'm wrong. I'm still in the hospital. Lucas is perfect, but demanding. He needs to eat every 2 hours. I haven't slept more than an hour at a time. My body is broken and leaking and transforming into something I don't recognize. Adrian is supposed to visit in the morning. He doesn't show up. I call him at 10 a.m. No answer. I call again at noon. Voicemail. By 2 p.m., I've called 17 times. My mother is with me now. She brought flowers. She brought gifts for Lucas. She keeps saying what a beautiful baby he is, what a good father Adrian seems to be. At 6 p.m., Adrian finally calls me back. Hi, I say. I'm trying to sound normal. Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you all day. I can't come see you right now, he says. His voice is different, colder. My wife found out. My stomach drops into a place it doesn't come back from. Found out what? I ask. About you, about the baby, about everything, he says. She's threatening to take everything. She's threatening legal action. She's threatening to destroy me. I need to focus on that. What about us? I ask. What about Lucas? I need you to understand something, he says, and his voice becomes even colder. I never promised you anything. You misunderstood what this was. You said you were going to marry me, I say. My mother is looking at me with concern. I turn away from her. I said a lot of things, Adrian replies. I was caught up in the moment. But I'm not leaving my wife. That was never realistic. She has lawyers. She has money. She has power. And I'm not going to destroy my life for someone I barely know. The words hit like physical blows. I'm sitting in a hospital bed with my newborn son. I'm covered in sweat from labor. I'm bleeding. I'm in pain. And the man I've organized my entire life around is telling me I was a mistake. Adrian, I start. Don't call me Adrian, he interrupts. Call me Mr. Morales when you need to discuss Lucas. That's the only relationship we have now. I'll take financial responsibility for the boy, but I'm not going to see him. And I'm certainly not leaving my wife. This conversation is over. He hangs up. I sit there holding the phone, holding my baby, unable to breathe. My mother rushes over. What happened? She asks. What's wrong? He's not coming, I say. And then I understand the full horror of what I've done. I've had a baby with a married man. I've organized my entire life around his promises. I've believed his lies. And now I'm alone. The fairy tale didn't just end. It was never real. I replay his words in my mind. I never promised you anything. But he did. He promised me everything. He promised me forever. He promised me a family. He promised me that I was special, that I was different, that he loved me. All lies. I want to call him back. I want to scream at him. I want to make him understand that he's destroyed me. I want him to see what he's done. But I can't. Because I'm sitting in a hospital bed with a newborn, covered in the aftermath of birth, realizing that I've made the most catastrophic mistake of my life. He was never going to leave her. He was never going to marry me. He was never going to build a life with me. I was just someone to pass time with, someone to use, someone to impregnate so he could have a son while remaining married to his wife. I was a fool. And now I'm a foolish woman with a baby and no man and no future. I meet Adrian's wife on a Tuesday afternoon in November, 6 months after Lucas is born. I'm at the apartment, the one Adrian still pays for. Lucas is sleeping. I'm trying to clean the kitchen. I'm exhausted in a way that's become my baseline. I haven't showered in 2 days. I'm wearing sweatpants with a stain on them that I don't remember getting. The knock comes at 2 p.m. I open the door, and there's a woman standing in my hallway. She's beautiful in a cold, elegant way. She's wearing a suit that costs more than my monthly rent. She has the posture of someone who's used to getting what she wants. She has dark hair pinned back severely. She has eyes that are analyzing me the way a scientist looks at a specimen. Hello, she says. I'm Victoria, Adrian's wife. I don't know what to say. I just stare at her. May I come in? She asks, already moving past me. She looks at the apartment, the one Adrian pays for, with a mixture of pity and contempt. The apartment is small. It's barely furnished. There are baby toys scattered on the floor. There's a smell of formula and diapers. There's evidence of my broken life everywhere. "So you're the girl," she says. It's not a compliment. "I'm Isabel," I say, forcing myself to find my voice. "I know who you are," Victoria replies. She sits on my couch without being invited. She crosses her legs. She settles in like she has all day. "Adrian has told me all about you, about your emotional instability, about how you trapped him into a relationship by getting pregnant." "That's not what happened," I say. "No," she asks. "Did you not get pregnant? Did you not tell Adrian that you were in love with him? Did you not try to convince him to leave me?" I feel my face get hot. "He told me he was leaving you," I say. "He told me we were going to be together. He told me he loved me." Victoria smiles. It's not a warm smile. It's the smile of someone who's heard this story before. "Adrian tells many women that," Victoria says calmly. "It's part of how he operates. He makes promises that he has no intention of keeping, and then when women get upset about it, he gaslights them into thinking they misunderstood him. It's his pattern. You're not special, Isabel. You're just the latest in a long line." The words hit me like acid. "That's not what happened," I repeat. "But I'm less certain now. I have years of evidence that this is exactly what happened," Victoria says. "But that's not why I'm here." She stands up and walks over to the small bassinet where Lucas is sleeping. She looks at him like she's assessing him. "I'm here to talk about Lucas," she says. My body goes rigid. "Lucas is Adrian's son," I say. "Not yours." "Genetically, yes," Victoria agrees. "But Adrian won't be raising him. That's too complicated, too messy, too likely to interfere with his business. So I'm here to tell you that I'd like to be involved in Lucas's life. I'd like to help raise him." "Absolutely not," I say. "You don't have a choice," Victoria says. She turns to face me fully. "Adrian wants this, and Adrian gets what he wants. If you refuse, he'll hire the best family lawyers in Miami and take Lucas away from you completely." "Is that what you want?" "He can't do that," I say. "Can't he?" Victoria asks. "He's a very wealthy man, Isabel. You have no family support, no career, no financial resources independent of him. You're living in an apartment that he pays for. Your son has a trust fund that he established. Who do you think a judge is going to side with? The wealthy, established businessman, or the young, unmarried woman who's emotionally unstable and living on handouts?" "I'm not emotionally unstable," I say. "You're having a panic attack right now," Victoria observes calmly. "Your hands are shaking. You can barely make eye contact. You've organized your entire life around a man who was using you. Those are the actions of someone who's unstable." She's right. I know she's right. But I don't want her to be right. "What do you want from me?" I ask. "I want to help raise Lucas," Victoria says. "I want to make sure he becomes a proper young man. I want to make sure that you don't damage him with your emotional dysfunction. I want to ensure that Adrian's son is raised with discipline and structure." "Absolutely not," I say again. But my voice is weaker. "I'm going to move in," Victoria says. "I'm going to be very involved in Lucas's life. I'm going to help shape who he becomes. And you're going to cooperate, or you're going to lose him completely. Do we have an understanding?" I think about fighting. I think about calling a lawyer. I think about trying to protect my son, but I have no money for a lawyer. I have no power. I have nothing except Adrian's monthly payments, and Victoria is right. He could take that away. "Clear out the master bedroom for me," Victoria says. "I'll move in tomorrow." "Clear out the master bedroom for me," Victoria says. "I'll move in tomorrow." She leaves, just like that. She walks out of my apartment like she's closed a business deal. I sit on my couch, and I cry while Lucas wakes up, crying for food. As I feed Lucas, I think about what just happened. Victoria came in and made demands, and I agreed. I agreed because I had no choice, because she was right about everything. She's right that Adrian would win in court. He's right that I have no resources. She's right that without him, I have nothing. I've spent 2 years organizing my entire life around Adrian's promises. I've isolated myself from everyone who cared about me. I've made myself completely dependent on him, financially and emotionally. And now that he's abandoned me, Victoria has recognized that she has complete power over me. This is the moment I could fight. This is the moment I could say no. This is the moment I could try to protect my son and my dignity. But I don't have the strength. I don't have the resources. I don't have anywhere else to go. So instead, I clear out the master bedroom. I set up a cot in Lucas's room. I become the servant in my own home. And I tell myself that this is temporary. I tell myself that Adrian will come around. I tell myself that eventually this will change. But deep down, I know the truth. I'm trapped. This is my life now, and there's nothing I can do about it. Victoria moves in the next day with 2 suitcases and the energy of someone who's lived in elegant homes and has no intention of living in anything less. She takes the master bedroom without asking. She hangs her clothes in the closet with precision, everything organized by color and season. She brings her own pillows, Egyptian cotton, she tells me, her own sheets, Italian linen, and expensive lotions that make the apartment smell like a high-end hotel. She looks at the master bedroom like she's assessing a property she might buy. This will do, she says, though there's something in her tone that suggests she expected better. She comes to Lucas's room where I'm sitting with him, trying to rock him to sleep. He's been crying all afternoon. I'm exhausted. Set up a cot in this room if you want to be close to him at night, Victoria says. It's not a suggestion. But during the day, I'll be handling his care. He's my son, I say quietly. Yes, she replies, not unkindly. And he's Adrian's son. That's the only relationship that matters now. I wake before dawn to Lucas crying. I'm out of bed before I remember the cot, my body already oriented toward his needs. Victoria is already there. She's lifted him from his crib before I even fully realize what's happening. She's holding him against her shoulder, and she's doing something I've never thought to do. She's walking slowly while humming. Not singing, humming. A low, rhythmic sound that seems to bypass Lucas's crying entirely. His crying stops. I watch from the doorway as she changes him with efficiency that makes my approach look clumsy. She doesn't talk to him in the silly voice I use. She doesn't make faces. She simply does what needs doing, calmly and without emotion. And somehow this is exactly what he needs. Good morning, Lucas, she says, her voice even and controlled. It's time for breakfast. We're going to eat, and then we're going to spend time looking at the world outside the window. That's what we do in the morning. He doesn't understand her words, but something in her certainty seems to soothe him. She carries him to the kitchen and prepares his bottle with a precision that looks almost ritualistic, heating the formula to exactly the right temperature, testing it on her wrist, holding the bottle at the perfect angle. I stand in the doorway watching her bond with my son. I'm trying to give Lucas a bath. He's 6 months old now. He loves the water, loves splashing and laughing when I make faces at him. These are my favorite moments. These are the moments where he's still entirely mine. Victoria appears in the doorway. You're holding him wrong, she says. He's fine, I say. He's happy. He's happy because he's a baby. and doesn't know better, Victoria says. But you're establishing poor habits. He needs to learn that bathing is a practical activity, not a playtime. You're coddling him. You're making him soft. He's 6 months old, I say. Exactly, Victoria says. This is when habits form. This is when he learns how the world works. And the lesson you're teaching him is that crying and splashing gets him attention and play. That's not the lesson Adrian wants him to learn. She reaches over and takes him from the tub. She holds him efficiently, the way you'd hold a bundle of laundry. She wraps him in a towel with brisk, practical movements. She dries him without any of the tenderness I use. You see, she says, bath time is for getting clean. Nothing more, nothing less. And then she carries him away, and I'm left alone in the bathroom with the cold bath water. I haven't given Lucas a bath since that day. Victoria does it now. She does everything now. I mentioned this to her one morning. Victoria, I'd like to help with Lucas more, I say carefully. He's my son. You should be what? She interrupts. Bonding with him. Attached to him. Do you understand what that will do to him when Adrian takes him? The words freeze me. Adrian isn't going to take him, I say. No. Victoria smiles slightly. Adrian has a very expensive wife with very expensive lawyers. This arrangement is temporary until we can figure out a more permanent solution. And when Adrian decides to take Lucas, and he will decide that, do you want your son to be devastated because he's overly attached to you? Or do you want him to understand that emotional attachments are weaknesses that get exploited? That's not how you raise a child, I say. That's exactly how you raise Adrian's child, Victoria says. And that's what Lucas is, isn't it? Adrian's child. You're just the biological vessel. I don't have an answer, because on some level, I know she's right. Lucas is 1 year old today. Adrian sends a gift, an expensive toy he clearly hired someone to choose. No card, no message, just a toy. Victoria throws a small party. She invites no one. It's just the 3 of us in the apartment. She makes a cake, homemade, perfectly decorated. She wraps the toy from Adrian in expensive paper. She takes photographs of Lucas with the present. And when Lucas reaches for me, when he toddles toward me on his new walking legs, Victoria redirects him. Lucas, come show Victoria your new toy, she says, and he follows her instead. I sit on the couch watching my son's first birthday party, and I'm not part of it. Later, as Victoria is putting him to bed, I hear her reading him a book, his favorite book, the one I've read to him 100 times, but he doesn't ask for me. He's falling asleep to Victoria's voice, in Victoria's arms, in the rhythm of Victoria's world. I lie on the cot in his room, and I finally understand what's happened. I haven't lost my son to Victoria. He's never been mine. He was always Adrian's, and Victoria is simply his rightful guardian. By the time Lucas turns 2, I notice the first gray hairs. Just a few, barely noticeable. But they're there. By the time he's 3, there are more. By the time Sophia is born, and he's 5, I stop bothering to dye them. What's the point? There's no one to look beautiful for. It happens on a Tuesday afternoon when Lucas is almost 1 year old. I'm giving him a bath. He's learning to stand up in the tub. He's learning to splash. He's learning to laugh when I make faces at him. For 15 minutes, he's mine. He reaches for me. He laughs at my silly voice. He trusts me completely. Victoria comes in and tells me to leave. She says I'm not doing it right. She says he needs to learn proper hygiene. She says I'm coddling him. I leave the bathroom. I go to my room. I lock the door. And then I cry. I cry because my son doesn't belong to me anymore. I cry because Victoria is right about everything. I cry because I've allowed this to happen. I cry because I have no way out. That night, I think about leaving. I think about taking Lucas and just disappearing. I could go to Texas. I could go to California. I could get away from Adrian and Victoria. But I know Adrian would hunt me down. I know he has resources I can't imagine. I know he would find me. I know he would take Lucas from me completely and probably have me prosecuted for kidnapping. And then I realize something that breaks me completely. Even if I could leave, I'm not brave enough. I'm not strong enough. I've been broken down so completely that I don't even know if I want to fight anymore. Victoria has won. Adrian has won. And I'm just here, waiting, accepting, disappearing. I will not leave. Not next week. Not next year. Not in 14 years when Lucas is 18 and could choose to see me. I will stay in this apartment that Adrian pays for. I will watch Victoria raise my son. I will become smaller and smaller until I'm barely visible at all. This is my life now, and I'm too broken to change it. 2 years after Victoria moves in, Adrian comes to the apartment on a Friday afternoon. He doesn't visit anymore. He stopped visiting regularly 6 months after Lucas was born. But this time, he comes, and he tells Victoria to leave for an hour. I don't know what's about to happen. I don't understand why he's here. I've missed you, he says. And before I can protest, before I can remember everything he's done to me, he's kissing me. And despite everything, despite the pain, despite the betrayal, despite Victoria's presence in my home, I kiss him back. It's just once. It's just that one afternoon. But it's enough. I get pregnant again. For a moment, I think this might change things. I think that maybe another child will make Adrian realize he wants to be a father. I think that maybe he'll see me again and remember why he was so obsessed with me in the beginning. But Victoria finds the pregnancy test before I even tell Adrian. You're carrying his child again, she says. It's not a question. Yes, I say. How foolish, Victoria says. You actually think this will make him stay, don't you? You actually think that another child is going to make him love you? No, I lie. He'll disappear again, Victoria says calmly. He'll be there for the birth. He'll be excited for a moment. And then he'll realize what he's done, and he'll leave again. And I'll take this baby too, and you'll be even more trapped. She's right. I know she's right. But I don't want her to be right. But I have. Lucas is almost 6 years old now. Sophia is 3. They're in the second apartment that Adrian rents for us, larger, more space, but still paid for by Adrian. Still not ours. The school calls at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Miss Chen, the principal's voice is formal. We need to discuss an incident that occurred during recess. What happened? I ask. My heart is racing. Lucas hit another child, the principal says. The child had a toy that Lucas wanted. Lucas told the teacher he wanted it. The child said no, and Lucas hit him. Is the other child okay? I ask. He's fine. Just a small bruise. But we're concerned about Lucas's behavior. He didn't show any remorse. When we asked him why he did it, he said, because I wanted to. There's no apology in his voice. No sadness. No understanding that he hurt someone. Victoria picks him up from school. When she comes home, she doesn't punish him. She sits with him and explains something to him calmly. If you want something, she tells him, you take it, but you have to be smart about it. You can't just hit someone in front of the teacher. You have to do it when no one's watching. Do you understand? I'm listening from the other room. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Yes, Lucas says. I understand. Good, Victoria says. You're learning. There's no apology in his voice. No sadness. No understanding that he hurt someone. Victoria picks him up from school. When she comes home, she doesn't punish him. She sits with him and explains something to him calmly. If you want something, she tells him, you take it. But you have to be smart about it. You can't just hit someone in front of the teacher. You have to do it when no one's watching. Do you understand? I'm listening from the other room. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Yes, Lucas says. I understand. Good, Victoria says. You're learning. I realize in that moment that Victoria is teaching my son to be a criminal. She's teaching him that violence is acceptable as long as you don't get caught. She's teaching him that other people exist only to be used or eliminated. She's teaching him to be Adrian. And I'm letting her. I'm standing in another room, listening to my 6-year-old son learn how to hurt people, and I'm doing nothing. I'm not stopping her. I'm not protecting him. I'm not saying a word. This is my fault. I created this situation. I brought this boy into a home with a woman who's training him to be a sociopath. Later, when Adrian visits, I try to tell him what's happening. She's teaching him to be a criminal, I say. She's teaching him how to hurt people. She's teaching him how to survive, Adrian says. She's teaching him that the world belongs to the strong and the weak get trampled. That's an important lesson, and I see it then. Adrian is proud. He's proud that his son is becoming him. He's proud that Victoria is turning Lucas into a miniature version of himself. This is exactly what Adrian wanted when he seduced me. This is exactly what he was planning all along. I was never important. I was just the incubator for his heir. And I'm just now understanding what I've done. Lucas is 15 now. Sophia is 11. I don't know exactly when it happened, but somewhere along the way, Lucas became someone I don't recognize. He's beautiful in a dangerous way. He's emotionless in a way that terrifies me. He looks at me with contempt. He looks at Sophia with possessiveness. He looks at Adrian with pure worship. Adrian is proud of him. I can see it in his face when he visits. He looks at Lucas, and he sees a version of himself that's younger, stronger, less burdened by marriage. Victoria is proud of him too. She touches his head like he's her creation, which he is. One day, I find him in his room looking at his phone. On the screen is a photograph of Adrian. Below it, it says, "My father, the most powerful man I know." Lucas is idolizing a man who abandoned him at birth, a man who refused to be a father to him, a man who used Adrian's absence as an opportunity to corrupt him. You think Dad is powerful? I ask. I'm trying to understand what he sees. He's the most powerful, Lucas says. He doesn't look at me. He has money. He has power. He has people who do what he wants. He's everything. He left you, I say. When you were born, he left you. Lucas looks at me now. There's something in his eyes that looks like pity. He left because he had important things to do, Lucas says. He had a business to run. He had a life. You were the one who wasn't important enough to keep him here. I want to argue. I want to tell him that Adrian is a liar and a user and a criminal. But the words die in my throat because Lucas is right. Adrian didn't stay for me. And Lucas understands something about that. He understands that power matters more than love. He's becoming his father. Sophia is 8 years old now. She's still sweet. She's still kind. But I can see the edges of her kindness starting to fray. She's learning not to ask for things. She's learning not to want things. She's learning that the best way to be safe is to disappear. One morning, Sophia comes home from school, and tells me that someone was mean to her. She doesn't cry about it. She simply states it as fact. What happened? I ask carefully. A girl at school said my shirt was ugly, Sophia says. She's looking at her hands, not at me. And then some other kids laughed. That was very mean of them, I say. What did you do? I asked the teacher, Sophia says. And then the teacher talked to them. That was very smart, I say. I'm proud of her for using the right channels. I'm proud that she had the courage to tell an adult. That was brave. Victoria overhears this conversation from the living room. She comes over slowly. She sits down next to Sophia. She doesn't say anything at first. She just looks at her, really looks at her, in that way she has, that makes people feel like they're being assessed. That was weak, Victoria says finally. If someone is mean to you, you should make them regret it. You should hurt them the way they hurt you. You shouldn't ask for help. You should fix it yourself. I don't want to hurt anyone, Sophia says quietly. Then you're going to have a very hard life, Victoria says. Because the world is full of people who want to hurt you. And if you don't hurt them first, they will destroy you. Victoria stands up and walks away, leaving us sitting there. I watch my daughter absorb this lesson. I watch her starting to understand that kindness is weakness. That asking for help is weakness. That the only way to survive is to hurt people before they hurt you. 2 weeks later, the same girl who said Sophia's shirt was ugly bumps into her in the hallway. This time, Sophia doesn't ask the teacher. This time, Sophia pushes back. Hard. The girl falls and scrapes her knee. When the school calls me, I'm not surprised. When Sophia comes home, she doesn't cry or apologize. She simply says, Victoria was right. She won't bother me anymore. And I realize that she's learning the cycle. Not from Adrian, not from me. From Victoria, who taught her that power is more important than kindness. That dominance is more important than compassion. That survival requires cruelty. By the time Sophia is 8, she's learned how to be small in a way that goes beyond physical size. She's learned how to take up minimal space, how to ask for minimal things, how to need minimal attention. When Adrian visits, he barely notices her. He's there for Lucas, to see if Lucas is becoming him. But Sophia has learned not to expect notice. One day, I find her in her room drawing. She's drawn a picture of our family. Adrian is huge and dark, taking up most of the page. Victoria is elegant and composed, standing slightly behind him. Lucas is growing larger, becoming more like Adrian, and Sophia is tiny, in the corner, almost invisible. That's beautiful, sweetheart, I tell her. She doesn't answer. She just adds more color to the dark figure of Adrian. She's learning that visibility is dangerous, that being noticed is being vulnerable, that the safest place to be is in the margins, where no one expects anything of you. She's becoming like me. I'm 38 years old. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I don't recognize the person looking back. When I met Adrian, I was 25. I was beautiful. I was confident. I was a woman with a future. That was 13 years ago. The gray hair that started when Lucas was 2 has spread. It's not just a few strands anymore. It's woven through my hair like silver threads marking the years. I've stopped dyeing it. Why bother? There's no one to look beautiful for. Adrian barely looks at me anymore. Victoria owns my home. My children are no longer mine. I have wrinkles around my eyes and around my mouth. These weren't here 5 years ago. They've deepened gradually, like the marks of a life lived in worry. My skin looks tired. My eyes look tired. I look like someone who's been waiting for something for a very long time. I compare myself to Victoria. Victoria has aged well. The structure of her face has allowed her to maintain an elegant beauty. She carries herself with such confidence that people still turn to look at her when she walks into a room. She's aged the way powerful women age, with dignity and authority. I've aged the way trapped women age, with invisibility and erasure. I turn to look at myself and feel myself disappearing. This is who I've become. This is what happens when you organize your entire life around someone else. This is what happens when you let someone else make all the decisions. This is what happens when you become so small that you disappear completely. I used to have dreams. I used to want things. I used to believe in myself. Now I have nothing. I don't have Adrian. I don't have my children. I don't even have myself anymore. I'm becoming invisible. Not just to Adrian, but to everyone. I'm becoming the kind of woman that people's eyes slide past. I'm becoming the kind of woman that doesn't matter. And the worst part is that I did this to myself. I allowed this. I made choices that led me here. Every choice was a small step closer to this mirror, this moment, this woman I don't recognize. I can't even blame Adrian anymore, because he was honest about who he was from the beginning. He was honest that he wouldn't leave his wife. He was honest that he didn't love me. He was honest that I didn't matter. I just refused to believe him. So I'm here, 38 years old, invisible, alone, and completely, utterly trapped. It's Sophia's 8th birthday. Adrian is coming by for dinner. This is rare. He usually doesn't come to celebrations, but Sophia asked him to. Sophia still thinks that if she asks nicely, her father will care. He arrives late. He's distracted. He brings a gift. He clearly had someone else buy for him. He doesn't know how old she is. He doesn't know her favorite color. He doesn't know anything about her. After dinner, Sophia asks me a question that breaks what's left of my heart. We're in the kitchen, cleaning up. Adrian is in the other room on his phone. "Mommy," Sophia says quietly, "do you think Dad will ever love you the way you love him?" I want to lie. I want to tell her that love always wins. I want to tell her to wait for her father to come around. I want to tell her that things will get better. But I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of hoping. "No, sweetheart," I tell her. "I don't think he ever will." She doesn't cry. She just nods like this is information she already knew on some level. "Because of something he did?" she asks. "Because of who he is," I tell her. "Your father isn't capable of loving people. He's capable of wanting them. He's capable of using them. But love, that requires something he doesn't have. Will I be like that?" Sophia asks. "Will I not be able to love people?" My heart breaks in a way I didn't know was possible. "I hope not, sweetheart," I tell her. "I hope you're braver than I am." She crawls into my lap. We sit together in this kitchen that we don't own, in this life that was never ours, in this cycle that will never end. I'm sitting in the living room of the apartment I don't own, watching Lucas do his homework. He's 14 now. He's reading a text about economics. He's not studying, he's analyzing, looking for angles, looking for advantage. This is not the homework of a child learning. This is the homework of someone learning predation. Victoria is in the kitchen. She's making dinner. She moves through the space with the ease of someone who owns it completely. I realize, in this moment, that I've become like Victoria. Not in the way that I'm cruel to other women, but in the way that I've accepted my role. In the way that I've carved out a place for myself in Adrian's world. in the way that I'm complicit in his abuse. Victoria was right all along. I am unstable. I am broken. I am not good mother material. But not because of what Adrian said. I'm broken because I've allowed myself to be broken. I'm unstable because I've let Adrian make me unstable. I'm unfit as a mother because I'm teaching my children to survive in a world of abuse instead of showing them that a better world is possible. I watch Lucas finish his homework and close his notebook with the satisfaction of someone who's just completed a masterpiece of strategy. He looks at me and smiles. It's Adrian's smile. Cold, confident, empty. I realize that Lucas is becoming his father exactly as planned. He's becoming emotionless and predatory. He's starting to get involved in things I don't want to understand. He looks at people the way Adrian looks at people, like they're objects to be used. And then Sophia comes home from school. She's quiet. She's small. She hangs her backpack on a hook and doesn't greet anyone. She goes directly to her room. I realize that Sophia is becoming me. She's learning to make herself small. She's learning that safety comes from invisibility. She's learning that love is something you give to people who don't deserve it. And I realize, watching these two children move through the apartment like they're part of a tragedy I orchestrated, that I've created this. I've birthed these outcomes. I've allowed this corruption to happen. The cycle will continue. Lucas will grow up and become a cartel boss, just like Adrian. He'll have his own mistress. He'll gaslight her the way Adrian gaslit me. He'll use her children as tools of control, and Sophia will either become the mistress, or she'll become like Victoria, the woman who's complicit in her husband's abuse, because she's too afraid to leave. The cycle will never end, not until someone is brave enough to step outside of it and refuse to participate. And it won't be me. I'm too broken. I'm too gaslit. I'm too much of a victim to be a revolutionary. So I accept it. I accept that this is my life. I accept that I will never leave Adrian. I accept that I will spend the rest of my days in this cycle of hope and devastation. I accept that my children are lost to me. I accept that I've failed as a mother. And in accepting it, I feel a strange kind of peace. But the peace is just another lie. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Sophia comes home from school with a question that echoes my own fears. I'm 39 years old now, and Lucas is 12. Sophia is 8. I'm still living in the apartment that Adrian pays for. I'm still waiting for him to come by and spend time with our children. I'm still hoping that one day he'll tell me that he loves me and actually mean it. I don't believe it anymore, but I still hope it anyway. Mommy, Sophia says, why does Dad stay with Victoria if he loves you? I don't know how to answer her. How do I explain that her father is a cartel boss who doesn't understand the meaning of love? How do I explain that Victoria is gaslighting both of us? How do I explain that I've chosen to stay because I'm too broken to leave? Sometimes people make complicated choices, I tell her. And sometimes those choices hurt the people around them. Did you make a complicated choice? Sophia asks. Yes, I say, I did. Do you regret it? She asks. The question hangs in the air between us. I want to say yes. I want to tell her that staying with Adrian was the biggest mistake of my life. I want to tell her to learn from my mistakes and never let a man trap her the way I've been trapped. I want to warn her. But I also look at Sophia, and I realize that if I hadn't made that choice, she wouldn't exist. And despite everything, despite all the pain and suffering, I wouldn't undo her existence. I don't know, I tell her. I'm still figuring that out. She leans against me. We sit together in the apartment that Adrian pays for, in the life that was never ours, in the cycle that will never end. And I understand the full horror of my situation. Adrian was never trying to hurt me specifically. I was just a vehicle for him to create a son in his image. I was a means to an end. I was a way for him to pass on his legacy of manipulation and control to another generation. Everything he said to me was a lie. Every promise, every declaration of love, every moment of tenderness. All of it was designed to trap me and keep me trapped so that I would stay long enough to give him the son he wanted.